Hello everybody, welcome to another lesson. This is going to be the 26th lesson. Okay, it is bars and line graphs. So this is pretty easy stuff once you get the hang of it, and it's easy to get the hang of. Let's see. I'm not going to go through all of these. So we have the explanation page here, and we have the actual worksheet here. They're all pretty similar. This is more not necessarily about the math, but just about how to kind of read these graphs again, which is quite basic. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So basically, a bar graph uses bars to represent values. Bar graphs have two axis lines. One line shows a number scale and the other shows labels for the bars. By comparing the length of a bar to the scale, you can estimate what value the bar represents. Okay, so for example here, so if you're comparing the, oops, whoopsie daisy, I'm not sure why that's happening. Okay. So if you're comparing, saying compare like this line here to this line here, we know in 2007, so this graph is for employee discrimination complaints number per year. So 2007 shows 25 complaints, so we're comparing that 2007. So between here is 5 complaints, okay, or the value of 5 between 25 and 30. So you look at this is probably like at the 27 mark, because not quite half yet. Excuse me. So that's what it's saying to compare there. Okay, so read the labels. Each bar represents the number of complaints made within a year. The years are shown beneath the bars. Analyze the data. Yes, we know that. So yeah, let's see. I'm going to read a few of the key ideas here. A bar graph uses bars to represent numbers. Okay, to find the value of a bar, compare its length to the scale shown on one of the axis lines. Estimate the value. A double bar graph compares groups of data. Read the key to find the meaning. Okay, so I'm kind of going to skip all this just because we're actually going to do it in the worksheet, okay? So let's see. I'm not going to do all of these because once you know how to do one of them, you'll know how to do all of them pretty much. But I'm going to do a few of them, okay? So for questions 1 to 3, use the bar graph entitled Employee Discrimination Complaints, which we were just using. Okay, so since we're doing that, 1 to 3, let's go there. To the nearest 10, this is important to keep in mind, guys, because sometimes with these graphs, it doesn't indicate, there's a big gap here, for example, between 40 and 60. So, you can only kind of guess that this would be like 50 because it looks like it's right in the middle. But, that's big gap there, and it's a little bit hard to tell if that's exactly in the middle just with the human eye without, doing specific measurements, etc. So, it doesn't have to be in this question, doesn't have to be exact. They just want it to the nearest 10. Okay, so to the nearest 10, how many employee discrimination complaints were there in 2006 and 2007? So the employee discrimination complaints, this will tell you what this chart is for, okay? And I can't remember, I think it said 2006, 2007, yep, 2006 and 2007. So here we have 2006. To me, that looks like the half line. So, I'm going to do 22.5. Okay. And then 2007, that also looks like the half line. So I'm going to do 27.5. 20, gosh, 22.5 plus 27.5 equals 50. So that would be the answer for that. Okay, the nearest 10. Okay, basically there were 50 complaints. Even if there were, say, 49, you'd still put 50 because you're going to the nearest 10. Or if there were 48, then you'd still put 50. Okay. Let's see. Okay, question numero dos. Okay, the nearest 5. Sorry, to the nearest 5, how many more complaints were there in 2011 than in 2006? So 2011 had about, I'd say that's 38. 38, because you can see here 2011 goes up 30, this 35 mark. It's closer to the 40 mark than it is to the 35, which is where I'm getting my 38 from. Okay, so 38 minus, I said in 2006, this looks like the half mark to me, so 22.5 equals 15.5. Okay, so we know they said to the nearest 5, so the answer for that would be just 15. Okay, so by what percent did the number of complaints decrease from 2008 to 2009? Let's see, about 2008 is 25, 2009 is 20. So we can do our percentage of change here, which is formula 25 minus 20 divided by the original amount, which is 25. So we know 25 minus 20 is 20. Okay. So, sorry, not 20, it's 5, obviously. Excuse me. So we have now this divided by 25. So 5 divided by 25 equals 20%. Okay. So anytime you have the percent in a decimal form, you move it over 2 places. So 0.2 would be, we moved it over 2 places. Let's see, it would be there. Then we have to add a 0 for the place value. Now, sorry guys, I'm writing with this trackpad and it's not very good, but that's 20. So now we have 20% there. Okay. Okay, number 4. About how much more did it cost to make film A than film B? So let's go to the films. By the way, we know we're supposed to go to the next one because to the next graph because it says for questions 4 through 6, use the bar graph entitled Profit Analysis for 4 films. Okay, so the question again was about how much more did it cost to make film A than film D? And that is a key word as well, about. So it seems like they don't necessarily want absolutely specific because again this is a little bit hard to tell. Okay. So the cost, you can see here profit analysis. We know the black is the cost and the gray is the box office receipts. So how much more did it cost to make film A than film D? So we have film A, which looks like it's cost. So the halfway mark, guys, I would say would be 90, since this gap is 80 to 100, which is 20. Okay. And this is like a quarter of the way there, so I'd say that's 85. So how much more did it cost? 85 minus this one here, same thing. This would be half, so it looks like it's about a quarter. So minus 65 equals 20. So it cost about, since this is dollars in millions, okay, it costs about $20 million more to make film A than film D. Okay, let's do this one. Films cost, film C cost, film C's cost was what percent of its box office receipts? Film C's was what percent of its box office receipts? So film C, we can see, was at a loss because it costed, at least at this point, costed $60 million and their box office receipts were $40 million. So we can go ahead and let's see. So it cost them 40 million. Okay, 40 million equals 100% in this case. Kind of forgot which one we're doing. C. Okay, so 60 million would be what percentage of 40? Let's just see. So we do 60 times 60 times 100 divided by 40 equals 150. So 60 is 150%. And 40 is, okay, let's put it this way. If 40 is 100%, then 60 is 150%. So the answer to that would be, what was the question first? Film C's cost was what percent of its box office receipts? So it was 150% of its box office receipts. Okay. Now, let's move on. So we'll do this one here, I guess. Okay, well, we'll do 7. Approximately how many more t-shirts were sold? Excuse me, I'm yawning. Approximately how many more t-shirts were sold than books and toys combined? So, books and toys combined. Let's see, how do we read this? No, this would be for which graph? Choose the best answer. Okay, for this graph. So t-shirts, there were a total of, it's a little hard to say, about this would be about 110. So it says about, okay, I want to see if it says to the nearest or anything. Choose one best answer. So that's the key right there. To each question. Question 7, yeah, to each question. So Yeah, let's say that's about 110. I know it's a few more. Let's say about 112. And toys, and it says combined more than toys and but approximately how many more t-shirts were sold than toys than books and toys. So we have 112 for t-shirts and books or games and toys. We have, sorry, books and toys. For books we have about, I'd say this would be the mill, about 42. Did I close my calculator? So we have about 42 books plus the toys, which is, I'd say, about the 30 mark. 30 equals 72. So, approximately how many more t-shirts? So we have 112 minus 72 equals 40. Okay, so 40 would be the best answer. Even if it was like 45, 40 would still be the best answer. Okay, so moving on. Let me this over here. So let's see. Now we have. Okay, well I'm not gonna do this because it's easy. One half of the games sold during the week of September 20 were on sale for $16. The rest sold for $24. Approximately how much money did the store take in for sold games during the week of September 20th. So this whole thing is items sold for the week of September 20. Okay, so approximately how much money did the store take in for games? So if we know that, let's see, one half of the games were sold, games sold during the week of September 20 were on sale for $16. Okay, the rest were full price. Okay, so we know that there were 50 games. 25 of them were sold at 16, 25 at 24. Just do 25 times 16 plus 25 times 24 and you shall get your answer. Okay. In May, okay, questions 9, yes. Okay, in May, what was the ratio of the number of 2-day permits to the number of 5-day permits? So here we have in May 70, well, let's see. The gray is 2-day permits and the black is 5-day permits. So in May we have 70 5-day permit 2-day permits and about 15 5-day permits. So the ratio would be 70 to 15, okay? And then you can simplify that. But we're not doing the math, we're just basically figuring out how to use this, okay? Because this is 70 right here, represents 70 permits, so we know the 2 days has 70, and this represents about 15, which is about here, okay? So, in which month was there a total of 80 permits issued? So let's see, 50 plus 10, no, that's 60. So total number is including the 2 days and the 5 days. So we know that's 60, so that's a bit more. It's asking about 80 permits. 70 plus 15 is more than 80. This is 70 plus 30, which is 35 day ones and 72 day ones. Then that equals 100, by the way. Then we have July, which is 80 plus 40. No, that's above 80. This one's already above 80. We can see that. This one here, 60 of 2-day ones, 2-day permits, and 20 5-day permits. What does that equal? 80. Hooray! So the month of September is the winning month there. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this and you appreciated it, please go ahead, like, and subscribe. If you know somebody else that could use this, please go ahead and send it to them as well. And have a good one. See you at the next lesson.